In this episode of Crime in the City,
Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
Bodycam video is released of a police-involved shooting, and a car is caught on camera ramming into a synagogue. Plus, murder charges are filed after a deadly fire. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are the crimes across the 5 boroughs. For our first story this week, we begin in the Jamaica Hills section of Queens. The NYPD released body-worn camera footage from an officer-involved shooting there, involving a 22-year-old man who was experiencing a mental health crisis.
All right, that video has led Mayor Zohran Mamdani to once again push for a mental health response system. Let's check in with Robert Moses now with the very latest. Robert, what are you learning this morning?
Dan and Rosanna, 9 days ago, somebody called 911 to report that 22-year-old Chabad Chakraborty was having a mental health episode and he had thrown a glass against a wall. The caller requested an ambulance so that Chakraborty could be brought involuntarily to a hospital. Officer Tyree White and another officer responded to his home in Jamaica Hills. What you're about to watch is newly released footage from Officer White's body-worn camera.
Baba, no! Hey, put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife, move! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Shots fired! Shots fired!
After Officer White fired 4 shots, police say Chakraborty underwent surgery for what they described as non-life-threatening injuries. This is the knife police recovered at the scene. Mayor Mamdani has promised to create what he is calling a Department of Community Safety, which he says would send mental health professionals rather than police officers to certain emergency calls. The mayor says that he watched this video that you just saw.
Chavez has lived with schizophrenia for many years, and this situation underscores just how urgently we need a different and more effective mental health response system that will be safer for New Yorkers. Chavez needs mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution by a district attorney. And that is why I proposed creating a Department of Community Safety to build a mental health system rooted in prevention, in sustained care, in real crisis response, so officers no longer have to handle these situations alone. And when there is a violent situation, such as with a weapon, NYPD will be on the scene.
The NYPD's Force Investigation Division is probing this shooting. That is standard procedure. In a statement, Chakraborty's family members said that they are shocked and outraged by how the NYPD treated him. They went on to say, quote, "We called 911 for an ambulance to provide medical attention for our son who was in emotional distress. We did not call the police."
We now head to the East Chester section of the Bronx, where a deadly fire broke out in an apartment building. Murder charges have now been filed in connection with this fire.
New developments in a deadly fire that broke out this weekend, forcing people out of their apartments and into the dangerous cold.
Tonight, a man is facing murder charges in connection with that fire in the Bronx. Fox 8's Kendall Green is live in the East Chester section with the very latest. Kendall, what can you tell us?
Hi, good evening, Natasha and Steve. When we first reported on this fire over the weekend, the cause was still under investigation, but officials, they confirmed someone is now in custody, as you said, facing murder charges.
What happened, sir? God bless you.
Now, this is the individual believed to be responsible. 55-year-old Samuel Calderon. Fox 5 cameras were rolling as officers walked him out of the 47th precinct this afternoon. The NYPD saying they've gathered enough evidence to charge him in connection with that fire. And that's after they traced him back to the blaze in the 17th-story apartment building here on Bivona Street Saturday. Now, police say the fire started when Calderon, who they say is homeless, dismantled a stove inside of that building, which led to a gas leak, igniting that deadly fire. Now, fire officials say the smell of gas was still lingering in the air when they arrived on scene just after midnight before there was an explosion leading to a 4-alarm fire. Now, how Calderon got into the building and onto the 15th floor remains unclear. But Saturday's fire claimed the life of 60-year-old resident Ronald McAllister and left a 37-year-old man in critical condition transported to Jacoby Hospital. Now, nearby residents who have friends who lost everything in the fire just hours before the weekend storm call today's update unbelievable.
My friend lived there, and it's just like, wow. It's like I know so many people that lost their homes, lost a lot of things that they can't even replace because of this fire and just because of ignorant people. I'm sorry.
Now, residents say there's still some relief that someone's being held accountable for the fire that affected more than 50 households. Now, among the charges Calderon is facing tonight, 2 counts of murder, manslaughter, and burglary.
Down in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, chaos erupted when a car drove into the side of the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters.
Well, breaking news, the NYPD has taken a driver into custody after a car slams into the doors of Chabad headquarters in Brooklyn.
Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is live in Crown Heights. Linda, what can you tell us?
Okay, well, first of all, we got here just a few moments ago. I want you to look over my shoulder. You can see there are police cars everywhere here. Several blocks have also been taped off, and they are blocked off. This happened about 10 of 9 this evening, and it happened right around the corner here. You see where the flashing lights are? That's the side entrance to the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters here in Brooklyn. The Lubavitch movement is, is a major movement in the Hasidic community. I want you to go ahead and take a look at this video here because this was posted on social media. And I got off the phone just a few moments ago with the PR person for Chabad Lubavitch for the headquarters here in Brooklyn. You can see there's a lot of screaming going on there. And there is a man driving a gray Hyundai car. And he drives it intentionally into the side door of the Lubavitch headquarters. Then he backs it up and he drives it in again. And he backs it up and then drives it in again. Now, I want you to go ahead and take a look at the pictures that we also have that were posted on social media that shows the aftermath of that. Well, police were quickly called here. Police from the 7-1 precinct got here, picked up this suspect, put him in handcuffed, and immediately took him over to the 7-1 precinct where he is being questioned right now. One thing I want to be able to do here real quickly, there's a gentleman who is a community member here in the Lubavitch community. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. One thing that I really want to point out to our viewers, today's date has a special significance to the Lubavitch movement because it is the anniversary of the previous of the death of the previous Rebbe. So thousands and thousands of people here, especially young people, are here to memorialize and celebrate his life. Thousands were inside this synagogue when that man rammed the car into the side door, correct?
So I don't want to speak numbers, but there are many, many people here tonight who are visiting in honor of the anniversary of the death of the previous Lubavitch Rebbe and the acceptance of the mantle of leadership of the current Lubavitch Rebbe. And there are many visitors from all over the world that have come for tonight's event. And they were inside during this. I don't know how to describe it.
But you were telling me that the man, as he was driving into the side entrance there and ramming the door, that he was cursing. He was screaming out and he was cursing.
So I'm just a member of the Jewish Community Council. I wasn't actually here during that time. But
what are they telling you?
From what they're telling me, he was hurling epithets. I don't exactly know the nature of them, if they were racially charged or not. It's still unclear. They're looking into that right now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And this comes just on the heels of what happened yesterday, where someone was arrested and was actually arraigned today for just going up to a rabbi in Forest Hills, Queens, and punching him in the face and in the chest while he was screaming out anti-Semitic slurs. So again, this scene, tight down, cops everywhere, the suspect in custody at the 7-1 precinct.
We now leave the city for Long Island, where a Nassau County police officer was killed in a crash in Suffolk County, and the driver of a pickup truck was charged with driving while intoxicated.
We are following breaking news on Long Island now. A horrific and deadly crash in Suffolk County. Police say the driver who caused it was intoxicated, and we're now learning the victim was a Nassau County police officer. Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino is live outside the 5th Precinct in Elmont, where, as we understand it, Officer Espinoza served. Is that right, Duarte?
That's right. This is a loss that's hitting Long Island really hard tonight. The Nassau County PBA identified the officer as 42-year-old Patricia Espinosa. She worked over here, and she was a fairly new mom. They say that she left behind a 2-year-old daughter. We have some video of that crash scene. I want you to take a close look at what's on your screen. You see that car in the center? That's the car investigators say that officer was driving. That's what's left of the car. Now, Suffolk County police say the crash happened early this morning in St. James. It happened at Route 347 and Alexander Avenue. We have video that you're looking at right now that shows the aftermath of that crash. Police say Espinosa was driving west on Route 347 at 6:06 a.m. Police say a pickup truck was heading north on Alexander Avenue. Police tell us that driver of the pickup truck went through a red light and slammed right into the car that Officer Espinosa was driving. Police identified that driver as Matthew Smith. He's 20 years old and from Hauppauge. Officer Espinosa was rushed to Stony Brook University Hospital, and that's where she was pronounced dead. Now, police say Smith and the passenger who was in the car were both taken to the hospital, and their injuries are not life-threatening. Both are expected to recover. Meanwhile, Suffolk County police say Smith was charged with driving while intoxicated. Police say both vehicles were impounded. Now, the Nassau County PBA released a statement that reads in part, Officer Espinosa was the heart of a true law enforcement family. Her husband, Francisco Malaga, and her two brothers, Cristian and David Almeida, all who proudly serve as police officers. And she leaves behind a 2-year-old daughter, Mia, who will grow up knowing their mother was a hero. That her life was taken in such a senseless act makes the loss even more painful. We stand shoulder to shoulder with her family and our brothers and sisters in uniform, and we will honor her legacy by never forgetting her service, her sacrifice, and the family she leaves behind. Once again, tonight, Nassau County officers are mourning the loss of one of their own, a woman who was 42 years old, who had a young daughter who comes from a family of police officers.
And finally, we end in Nassau County, where police seize millions of dollars worth of cocaine off the streets. Authorities say it's one of the biggest drug busts in the history of the county.
A massive drug bust in Nassau County. Police seizing a huge stash of cocaine from the streets of Long Island.
Fox 5's Meredith Gorman live in the newsroom with more on the record-breaking find. Meredith.
Steve, the drug bust is considered one of the biggest in the history of Nassau County Police Department. Now, during a news conference, officials say they arrested 2 men last Thursday while they were attempting to make a drug transaction. When narcotic agents searched the suspect's truck, they say they found about 700 pounds of cocaine worth an estimated $21 million inside. Officials say the drugs were headed for distribution throughout the New York metro area. Here's Nassau County executive and candidate for Governor Bruce Blakeman.
We have here one of the largest, if not the largest, drug busts we've ever had on Long Island. This is certainly the largest drug bust that the Nassau County Police have had individually without any assistance from federal, state, or local authorities.
Now, investigators say the 2 suspects are originally from Puerto Rico and have criminal records there. If convicted on the most serious charges, they face up to 20 years in prison. Now, the suspects were remanded and were taken to jail, and authorities say the investigation is ongoing.
And that's this week's Crime in the City.